by Riverside.
Second place. Welcome. Three guys, many games, PLL edition. I'm Steve Sombrato. I'm here with Vinny Sombrato, the GOAT, and also the guy who's in second place, Rob Smalley. I don't understand this. This is PLL Playoff edition, pre-playoffs. Coming to the end of the season. I can't believe we did a whole college season, spun it right into season 2 with the PLL, and now, who knows? We're gonna be back for maybe what's considered season 3, the off season.
The off season, we got a lot of guests looking to come on. We got some surprise guests. It's going to be a lot of. We might even go to other sports.
Well, we had fantastic response on the Jerry Byrne Harvard coach episode, Levittown born and bred. That was it was fantastic to talk to him. The other thing, Smalls, with all of these great guests we have, we're getting a lot of invites. We're getting invites to go to Notre Dame. We're getting invites to go up to Harvard. Do you have your suitcase ready?
I'm always listen. My biggest thing in life was FOMO. I still got it. At my late age here. Fear of missing out.
You got.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to miss nothing.
All right. Well, that's the one of the things in the summer season. Vin has sort of taken a little bit control of this. There's only 5 games left. Playoffs is very short in PLL. This week is considered, I guess, the quarterfinals, even though there's only 2 games. The other teams had gotten byes. But as it stands right now, Vinny for the season is 20-16. Malls is 1 game behind Vin at 19-17. I am 1 game behind Smalls, which is 2 games behind Vin, at 18-18. And the fans are losing ground. They are at 17-19. So they're off the pace.
They're 3 games back. 1 game out each team. One game out.
They're 3 games back. I guess they have a chance, but most likely not. But this is what you see about the whole idea of the point spread. The point spread makes it so that, if you have a spectacular record over 500, you're doing really good. But the point spread neutralizes that. Most of the time, it brings you back closer to 500. And it also makes you not really lose that much either. Sometimes you win games with the point spread. So everybody's sort of around that 500 range. Vinny's above, 4 games over, which is why he's in the lead and why he's,
Let me ask you something. I don't remember, but when you watch on the NFL show, and all of that, and they got all the pundits there, the ex-coaches, players, and they're picking games. They're not picking with the spread. They're just picking the win. And those guys without the spread, usually a lot of them end up below 500 without any spread.
They're terrible. Terry Bradshaw was like 400 below 500.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I've seen some of the guys, out there, and I think we might be the only ones picking with the spread, other than maybe there's a couple of gambling guys out there that throw out some picks. But like, for example, the inside lacrosse guys, a lot of them, they're not using the spread, and and some of them have really bad records.
Yeah,
bad.
It's not easy.
You're correct.
But I think the spread, if you took their bad picks, what I'm saying is if they're let's say they're 8 games under 500, if you redid all their games by the spread, they actually might be better because the spread might have helped them and won them a few games that it doesn't because of not having the spread. So
Good
Right.
point.
it
Good
does
point.
it does even some it does even some things up, but
All right. So what do we got? I
losing
got an idea how to pick the
control.
games, guys.
I want to go back because one thing we didn't get the chance to talk to because we had a few guests, and it seems like these games are ages ago. But the last time the PLL was out, had their last week of games was out in Salt Lake City in August 16th and 17th. In that very first game of that weekend, the Archers, were able to get a win over the Redwoods, which turned out to be a crazy game because they actually scored a 2-point goal within the last couple of seconds of the game, in which they really had 7 guys on the field, and they kind of blew over that, and it went to OT, but the Archers were able to get the win in OT. Uh, the problem with that is they ended up losing their best player, Tom Schreiber, during that game, and he had been playing pretty well. So the good news is they ended up getting the bye because of their play over that weekend. The bad news is they lost Tom Schreiber, and I guess we'll be talking a little bit while we're talking about obviously the Redwood season is over. Everybody will be on Pinnell watch. Maybe we'll get that breaking news over our podcast, Vin. Whether or not Rob is coming back. The press conferences, whether he'll announce that he's for surely coming back next season to do it again, or if he's calling it a wrap, because he's giving some mixed messages out there.
Oh, I don't care what he's given. I'm going on the record saying Penelope back.
Well, as our famous team manager for Long Island, John Phillips, used to say, you don't retire at the end of the season, you retire at the beginning of the next one.
That's a
So
good point.
Yeah.
you may feel, especially after them not, making the playoffs and a disappointing season as a team, it's hard to put a shit on the guy to make a decision right now unless he's just cut and dry because, from what I remember, like last year he was talking about it maybe being his last year, but it's hard to give up something you're so good at. So he played this year again. Unfortunately, he was on a team, didn't perform to their past levels. And, talking about that weekend that we didn't get to when we had Jerry on the show, Jerry Byrne on the show, you know, the Redwoods end up losing that game. The Water Dogs ended up winning a game, but both of them were pretty much out of the playoffs already. They were out of it.
Right. They were out of it.
They're just playing for pride. But the other teams playing against them were playing for positioning for whether they're going to get a bye or not. And so it mattered to them. And to their credit, the Water Dogs won a game, right? Their last game. I mean, that put them at 2-8 on the season with so many 1-goal and overtime losses, but that's this league. You either win or you lose. You can't have a loser's lament. We lost in overtime. We lost by 1. You win or you lose. That's it. That's what it comes down to. So you got to find ways to win. And
You sound like Yogi Berra.
Well, some of these other teams have found a way to win. The Whip Snakes are hot. They're finding ways to win now. They're looking pretty tough. Denver, that's a complete puzzle to me. One week they look like world beaters. The next week they can't score. So this is an interesting playoff scenario we got going.
I think just to go back to touch on one other thing with Pinnell, because I think this goes for all players, and then Schreiber will be in this boat at some point, and there's others that it becomes that time to call it quits, and you have to love it. I will say there's a difference for me, from at least as I stood, from when it was indoor to outdoor. Indoor kind of injury kind of took me out of it, and then I was older, and I had broken my wrist, and that was a whole thing. And then I had still come out to play outdoor, but the outdoor thing, the summer. I think the summer is more of a thing that would take guys out of it than anything else. I mean, I just remember those years that at least I was fortunate enough to play in the MLL. The summer, which most people enjoy, it literally would go in a blink of an eye, and then you'd be back into the grind of fall and winter and spring, and it was like, you didn't really get to enjoy a summer. So, Rob's, gonna, be getting married. He's gonna be starting a family. There's a whole other dynamics there that I think makes it difficult to play longer. But I think the summer.
Well, the other thing is, look, for me, if I was a player today, like you said, it eats up your whole summer. You don't really get a summer. You're playing lacrosse for the summer. But
Oh, they're traveling around to nicer places than we went to, though.
no, I wouldn't say. Well, yeah, maybe nicer places, but to me, the travel thing would wear on me. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like the last 3 out of 4 weeks, these guys were out west. They went to San Diego, they went to Utah, they went to Denver. That was 3 trips you have to make. You're living on the East Coast, you're living on Long Island, and you got to fly out there on the weekend. Those are trips. So I was very.
Smalley wouldn't mind those trips, though.
No, Smalls is a traveling man.
Yeah.
He's a rambling man. He don't care. He's on the move.
Lord, I've been born
Yeah,
around, man.
it seems not so long ago where we took him on his first trip down to Florida, and
Yeah,
became
that
real.
opened the door.
Then he
The
couldn't believe
floodgates.
it.
The floodgates were open after
Then he
that.
actually thought it was a joke. He didn't even think you were going to show up, actually, and all of a sudden,
I gave all I
never
could to
forget.
lacrosse in 3 years.
I got that impression in my head of him pulling his OGO bag with his thing on top there in the JetBlue terminal, and
so in other words, to you guys, I just popped up at the airport.
Yes.
Okay, in your mind, yeah.
And I said,
I'm going, and all of a sudden I had the date.
Oh, you're like a magician. You just pop in like it's like nothing. I turned to Steve and we were on. I remember we were getting something to eat. We're on the line paying for, and I looked across and there he comes. I said, "Is that Smalley? Here he comes."
I hear you. So it's like that. All right. That's pretty funny then, yeah. No, but one thing on Pinnell, I will say something about him. I've been around athletes all my life and more like in nutrition and bodybuilding. If there's anybody that could do it, and I've spoken, Pinnell better than I do. I speak to him a little bit here and there. It's just that the guy really took care of himself. I'll be hard to find anybody in the game today. I'm not saying training. I'm talking about the whole cabal. The eating, have a special trainer with you. I'll be hard to find that I've known anybody to do it like Rob Pinnell in the game. I'm not talking about who he's better than in this, but I find it hard to believe that anybody's done what Rob Pinnell has done completely in the game.
Well, the other thing is one big thing. He got hurt once in college. He broke his foot, I think it was, and he ended up getting that extra year that he played in college. But from that point on, knock wood, he's been injury free. So that's a big part of it too. I mean, if you start getting hurt along the way and you get these nagging injuries, that makes it tougher to keep going. But yes, you're right. He listen.
How old is he now, Vinny?
I think he's 33 or 34, like that. But look, he's got reasons to stay in, and it has nothing to be successful away.
Well,
working
if he's on
with.
your scale, he's got another 6 or 7 years.
No,
I
but
think he has at least 5 years.
I'm saying, look, he's got a reason to maybe stick around. You got the Olympic thing coming, so you really got to commit yourself for almost 3-4 more years. If you're going to try to make a run at that. He may want to,
I just don't think I don't think it's anything having to do, like Smalls is saying, physically, not a problem. Mentally, not a problem. His game probably had a better year than he had the previous 3 years before that. Not a problem. I think it becomes more of a lifestyle thing. You get older.
If he can refocus, he'll make another world team. That'll be 4 world team. He'll be the only guy to ever make 4 world teams in this generation.
Take it easy.
There'll be another generation. And plus, he told me he's going to have sushi with me in Japan. I like him
to go. I think he's going to go one way or the other, but listen, it'll be interesting to see. He's got to make those are tough decisions because it's
Wait a
not easy.
second. Why don't we get Rob Pennell on next? Can we possibly get him on?
Yeah, we could get him on, but he may not want to. He may not. I don't want to put him under the gun.
We won't talk about this.
We want to get him for the announcement. I want to know whether we have to wait for it. I'd like to know the announcement. That's the better
All right,
one.
we'll see what we can do. I'll run into him and I'll see. But
I don't think it. I agree with Smalls. I don't think it's going to be much of an announcement because I think he's going to come back. But I can guarantee you why you're getting those sort of mixed messages is like anybody when we got older. It does become a little bit of a you're getting on with your life, you're doing other things. And
maybe his wife. You got to understand he has a significant other that has different plans. Maybe they want to travel. Maybe they're going to move to San Diego. We don't know everything about what. And that's like Tom. He's like the Tom Brady.
I will say this. If he does decide he's going to keep playing, I think he needs a change of scenery. I think he should try to make a move to get to another team. It's just
you got to put him in with that Canadian kid. He's got to play with the Canadian kid. He'll stay around.
I don't know if he could play with him, but I'm just saying, whatever the reason, the chemistry is a little off with that Redwoods team. With him, I think that he'd be better suited, with a bit of a fresh start. I mean, look, they're all great players. I mean, Chris Gray, all these guys, but they're going through the same thing we did, Steven. You're working during the week and you're playing on the weekend. I mean, I know it's a higher level maybe, and it's superior in terms of their conditioning and stuff maybe, but we went through it when you play club. You got your stick in your hand once a week for a lot of guys, and then you're trying to go out and play at high level. And you got other guys you're playing against who are coaches. Some guys are warming up goalies 5 days a week. They're shooting all the time.
I was texting Brian O'Keefe, Mac O'Keefe's father, as the games, as those Salt Lake City games were going on, and I was watching them. And I don't know why, obviously it's late in the year. I thought the games, to be honest, those games in particular were looked like sloppy first week games. For example, there
was a ton of turnovers.
I was like, wow. I'm like, they're supposed to be getting to the stage of where they've been playing all summer that they should be almost at a really high level. It looked worse to me.
Listen, Atlas is the number 1 seed. They lost their last game, right? They lost. Right. And they, from what I remember, they had 26 turnovers and lost the game by a goal. How did you ever see a team have 26 turnovers and lose by a goal? It tells you the other team's turning it over quite a bit also. But look, they're doing their best I think the level of play is high, and the thing for me is, a lot of guys always ask me, compare it back to when playing club lacrosse and all of that. And it's funny because they think, of course, I'm going to be biased towards club lacrosse and all, but I try to look at it not a perspective of just because I played then, but I'm looking at it like we had consistency. Sometimes we had the same lineup for at least with our team, with Long Island that I played for. We had consistency of lineups for sometimes 8-10 years.
Right.
Maybe a couple of guys popped in and out of there. But there was that core nucleus of guys for a long period of time, which you get to learn how to play with guys. You get used to each other. And that's why I say, from a team standpoint, there was more chemistry over time that developed. Here, they're really limited in trying to develop that team chemistry. That's why you see some of these teams, though, they got new guys, and it's like the first half of the season, like the Whip Snakes are a pretty good example of it this year. They started a little slow. They still had some real core guys. They still got Zed. They still got Rambo. They still have Bernhardt. Their defense is strong. But they started plugging guys in. Malone came up big for them, the rookie, who I think should be rookie of the year. And, they started plugging in pieces. And next thing you know, the chemistry is starting to click, and they're hot right now. So, it's just you got 10 games to really get it together. 4 of them might be practically experimental for who you're going to put in and out of the lineup. And so that's the nature of the beast.
Now you lose your out, So the Archers got their big weekend out in Salt Lake City, but they lost Schreiber. So obviously the question is, and I think they can. It's can they win without Tom Schreiber? Can they win these? What essentially will be 2 games because they're not playing this weekend because they
Right.
bye. So can they win 2 games without Tom Schreiber?
Well, they're going to have to step it up. Look, they won the, he didn't play much of that game when he hurt his collarbone there. And from what I understand, I know he had surgery and I think he's doing well. We always want to see Tom come back healthy because he's definitely fun to watch. He's a great player to watch. So, and knowing him personally, I'm always rooting for him. But, they did win the second game. They had to play 2 that weekend, and they did win the second game, so they showed they can win a game without him. But now the money's on the table. It's a little different team. Maybe the team that day, they knew he wasn't playing, but they didn't adjust. You can bet that teams are going to game plan differently.
Look, we can jump ahead to that one because that was the last game of the weekend, obviously. But that was a disappointing situation for Denver Outlaws because they were fighting to maybe get, into that bye situation,
right.
And so they're going into that situation with a chance to get that bye, and they know Tom Schreiber's not playing, and they sort of lay an egg.
Yeah. Listen, that's a roller coaster team is all I could tell you. I mean, I can't figure them out. That's what we try to make these picks of these games. One week they look like world beaters. One week they look like, average at best, So you would think now, like the money's on the line, you're one and done, if it's win or go home. We'll see what's going to happen. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
The Atlas, who everybody's been talking about, like looking like the strongest team, and obviously they have the bye and they have I guess the sort of number 1 seed, but they haven't looked spectacular over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
It's getting closer and closer with all the games.
Yeah.
That's teams that could, and sometimes you got these guys that are willing to play, and you got these other guys that did great in college. They got big names. But then you got these guys sitting on the bench. Sometimes you put them in, they do better.
So
they
that'll
do better.
be asking Smalls about one of the other games that happened out in Salt Lake. The Cannons ended up beating the Chaos.
1 goal game it was. Yeah, everything was 1 goal.
And now that's set up actually a rematch now. They got
you got 2 rematches. You got the Maryland and Denver that they played during the year. The Whip Snakes, they beat Denver pretty easy during the year, and that's the game this weekend. They beat them by 7, 16-9, right. And you had, like you said, Boston had to go to overtime with the Chaos.
Right.
So, and that's a rematch. So, look, we're looking forward to two hotly contested games, that's for sure. Look.
If anything, Whip Snakes right now look like the team that would be, could you say solidified themselves as more of, consistent than any of these other teams right now?
Down the stretch, I think they have, yes. But now they haven't played in however many weeks.
Right.
Do they come out a little stale, or is it to their benefit? They got a little healthy because some guys might have been nicked up. Right. I don't know. But all I could say is they win their last 4, I think, or something. Yeah. I think they won 4 in a row, and they've looked really good, and the chemistry is better. They're going to be a team. There's no clear cut. I'd love to see. We do have to pick the games, and we have the point spread in terms of maybe goals over and under, and the point spread of the game. But I don't know what the odds are right now for who would win. If there was a line on who would win the league, who they have as I got to assume Atlas has to be favorite.
I can tell you that right now. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, it's going to be Atlas. It's going to be like those teams. Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Atlas is 1 and Whip Snakes are 2.
We can pick the games right here. We don't have to.
The Archers might have the better record and have the bye.
We don't have to wait to pick the game. We can pick them right here.
We are going to pick them right here.
Yeah, we are. But no, I'm just saying we picked the game with the point spread. I'm just talking about the overall odds to win the championship.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
We'll write down. Here's how we'll do it. We'll write it down and then we'll show it.
Right now they have the Atlas at plus 185, and no, they actually have the Whip Snakes down the road. They have Atlas as the favorite. They have Arches as next. They have Cannons. Then they have Whip Snakes.
Wow.
What
I think the Whips.
That.
I think the Whip Snakes are a good bet
Yeah.
if they're with those odds.
So we're gonna pick it now. Let's pick it now.
No, we're not picking it yet. We're still discussing the games now.
He's
the other
trying
thing
to get to his picks because he's in the running. He's actually in the running, which is terrifying.
Well,
I'm always being in the running now.
He thinks I don't listen to him, but he did make a comment earlier about how he said we should make the picks. He had a way he wanted to do the picks.
Oh, well, you definitely have to pick. You have to pick first. And
no. Why don't you listen to me?
Go ahead.
Listen to me, because you guys are always the smartest guys in the room, right? So here's how we'll do it without anybody looking. You don't got to send it to Tashman. It to you write it. Hold on. You write it down. Each guy writes it down and we hold it up.
I don't care. Yeah, whatever. I mean, say it. Vinny's got to go first because he's in the lead. He should.
I do agree with that. He came out with a rule.
It's got to be.
When he was losing, he came out with a rule.
First. I have no problem with that. I'm not arguing anything about that.
He's dying to get that trophy. I can tell you that, Smalls.
I get that trophy, bro. You know what it is? I hate to say it. When things are too good, it always comes true. This is the truth. When it's so good to be true, when you want your team to win, they always never win. They never win because it's too good. If I win this whole thing, forget about it. Oh, man, I'll call up Brendan Schneck. I'll have everybody on the line.
He pulled out Brendan.
Oh, I love Brendan Schneck. I love Brendan Schneck. Oh.
There's a lot of people rooting for you. I will tell you that.
You remember what the announcer said about Brendan? That the reason why Brendan, when he was in the world, the games, the guy goes, they had this guy, it was like a little weird guy. He goes, he has some of the finest skills in the game. Like he was, that one, I don't know the announcer years ago. He's a weird little guy. He was funny though. I forget his name, the announcer guy. He has some of the finest skills in the game. Oh, man.
Might have been Lee Felsmo.
Might have been.
You might be right about that.
Well, these games that are coming up, if you wanna hold off picking the games, there's another thing I want to pick. They came out with the finalists for awards in the PLL for the season awards.
Oh, they did? Yeah. I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah.
So maybe we pick a few of these. I like to, I'll give you an example. So they have Attackman of the Year, the Eamon McEnany Attackman of the Year award. They have 5 guys up for it.
That's not even a question.
Well, I mean, unless you're going to give them 2 things. Let's get the first one out of the way. Jeff Teat's winning the MVP. I don't care. Let's face it. Come on, he's the MVP.
No, the MVP is won by the guy who wins it all. I thought.
Well, I mean, can you get the MVP and the Attackman of the Year in the same year? Like, is it fair?
I don't see why not. Okay. I don't see why not.
And I don't think then there's.
Yeah, he wins it. He definitely. I agree with that statement.
Because he should get everything.
Well, listen, this season is an unprecedented year. The guy finished with 64
Hey, Tashman, I'm on the podcast.
Why you got to pick up the phone all the time?
I'm sorry, Vinny's upset. Vinny, the Godfather.
Why must you pick up the phone?
I'm sorry.
You want to show you got friends?
Vinny, I apologize. I learned from you. Take it easy, Vinny. I apologize. I'll give you Baskin Robbins later. I know you like ice cream.
Listen, so what Teat had an unprecedented year. And with 64 points, 6.4 points a game, the next closest guy was 25 points below him.
Right.
I think looking at the stats, I think if you just counted his assists, he'd be like third in scoring.
So they have for that MVP, they have Teat, they have Blaze Riorden, they have Asher Nolting, and they have Schreiber.
Yeah, it's not even close. He's a runaway. He's a runaway with that.
Okay, so we all agree there. He's going to be the
Yeah,
MVP, right? Small.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take that one off. Okay, now let's go. Let's go to this one. Goalie of the year.
Oh, but by the way, Steven, let me just get in for the fans. Let me make a profound statement. And by the way,
Profound. Wow.
What do you say?
Profound. He's pulling out new. What would you buy a dictionary this week?
Oh my God, man. Oh God Almighty. I got it in me. I just can't get it out.
Look, I see it in the back there. Webster's.
I got 5 uncles out of generals at West Point. So listen to me. My point to you is that record should be touted like crazy. That will never be broken. That
Never say
record
never.
Yeah, don't
Never say
that.
never.
No, it will never be broken.
First of all, I'm going to tell you how it's all of a sudden now the PLL is 16 games. Now the record's broken. Now what?
That's different.
No, it's not different. It's
Yeah, per game.
Total points, but maybe points per game will never be broken.
Well, okay, but okay.
It'll never be broken. That thing, he won't even come close to that next year. It's too hard. What he did this year is they're like magical years. Come on. I've never heard of anything like that.
So they say it when you talk about the college guys, right? And you say, oh, this guy won. His record, he broke the points record. And he played in almost twice as many games as guys like Eamon McEnany, for example, in terms of that. So did they break the record or did they not break the record?
Yeah, he did break the record.
Okay, so he's going to get broken because they're going to add games, and there's going to be a season down the line.
But I'm saying, but you're talking
games.
You're talking per game compared to anybody else. 25 points.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, even with adding 4 games, it won't be easy. You know,
but 14. You're talking the point spread is so. You're talking about like Babe Ruth. What he's doing. I think is so underestimated from the next guy. 25 points. That's unheard of. It's like Babe Ruth and another guy hitting 10. You guys know lacrosse better than me.
He's a point making machine. There's no
question. I mean, it's something I can't even conceive in my brain. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overstating it. This kid should be shouted. He's the king. Get him get him going. Because I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And he does assists and goals.
No question. All right, the goalies. Here are the goalies. Blaze Riorden.
Right.
Colin Kirst.
Right.
Brett Dobson.
Right.
And Liam Enterman.
Colin Kirst. No, the first guy. What'd you say? What's the first guy you said?
Blaze
Riorden.
Blaze Riorden. Yeah, him.
It's like they might as well start naming the award.
Well, I don't know if Blaze deserves it this year. I mean, maybe that scoring a goal put him over the top. But, I think I'm trying to look at the saves. I mean, I don't know if it has save percentage here.
I think you're getting so used to how good he is that how good he is becoming.
Yeah, you're trying to take away from him.
It's becoming normal.
You're right, Steven.
He's remarkable, actually. These other guys have had great years too. I think that they've been fantastic.
Very good years. But I'll tell you, the rookie, I'm going to go with the rookie of the year is the kid from Maryland. If you want to,
we didn't get to that yet. He's going to tell you that. But I'm looking at stuff. Dobson's got a 57.2 save percentage, made 140 saves, 47 saves or something. Blaze is at 59. He made 92 saves. He missed a game or two, didn't he?
Yeah, he got hurt. He played only.
Listen, with him being hurt, I don't know when they vote on this, if it's voted before the playoffs or not. But if you don't count the playoffs, I think you got to go with maybe the kid Dobson. I think one of the other goalies could pass Blaze this year. That's just
maybe. I think I still would take Blaze Riorden. I still would pick him, but I think it's like his spectacular play almost works against them. It's like it like everything else. People become accustomed to it. It's like they're not even looking how amazing some of the things he's doing out there. Besides obviously scoring the goal. I mean, he really does make it difficult for these other teams. I don't know where Chaos would have been like as a franchise without him all those years. I mean, he's seeing a lot of shots. Their success. We'll ultimately pick the game, but I would never count chaos out of a game when they have him in the goal.
Mhm.
Also, you got to
that game.
let me jump on that, Steven. This is going to sound funny, but he's going to get a good laugh. But how about the goals that he deters by shifting over and the guy holding on to the ball more because he wants a better angle on Blaze? Stuff like that is never really recorded. There's things in the game that they don't have stats for.
Yeah, I think he definitely intimidates shooters.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know how to.
Yes, I think they try to shoot too fine. You know that I've played with a lot of the best goalies. You know, between
Well, the guy goes more to the middle, Vinny, because he can't score. You know, he can't go in with the pipe there. So
we're saying the same thing. You
right.
said it. I agree with you. He intimidates shooters to change where they might shoot for.
Thank you, Vince. We agreed on something. Gotta be.
And I like the way that Blaze is not. Look, there's different styles have different goalies. He's a good position goalie. He's very good with
he's the best goalie in the game.
Well, we know that. So he's your MVP of the outstanding goalie.
Maybe of the whole league. No, he can't go on with Teat.
But I think from year to year, different guys can have a better year than him, and I just think that maybe the other kid was a little better this year.
I could see them wanting to put somebody else new in there, but I would still say Blaze.
The MVP criteria is not who you would take long term as a goalie. We're talking about this particular season.
Yeah, I understand. The guy had the most impact on the team.
Right.
It's the impact on the team, not the most saves, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think some of these other guys had very good years. I mean, there's been guys who've gotten hot. I think the kid.
But then there's another stat.
Chaminade kid, he's really at the end of the year. He's really come on. He's been solid in there for them.
Solid, yeah.
Really solid.
He's
look, we played, so we understand it. Like, you want to have a goalie that makes the saves he's supposed to, and every now and then makes the spectacular, the one that changes momentum in a game. All these guys are capable of that. But some a little more than others. Blaze, clearly, he throws great outlet passes. That's a plus. He's very good on the outlet passes. He's good in the clearing game. Obviously, the big talk was when he ran down the field and scored a goal. He's done it before in his career. Rare that anybody can pull that off. He's done it in college and he's done it in the pros.
So. Having a guy like him, though, and for me, like, Sal was definitely like this. Lacasio, one of the greats. They actually tailor you how you play defense. You're confident pushing a guy into an area where you just know he's never going to score. Like you're almost like, you're taking away a part of the field and then you're pushing your guy to a place where you're like, okay, go ahead. You want to try your luck on that one? Because if he catches it, it might be a fast break the other way. Like you're already almost running for an outlet because you're like, that ain't going in against him.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage, when you have a guy like that.
No, if you take bad angle shots, you're risking, a transition the other way with these kind of guys.
Hey, Vinny, can I jump in here 1 second? Very good.
Who could stop you from jumping in? Go ahead.
I said, excuse me, Mr. Vinny. I was very polite, like I know. My point to you is, I would also like to see a stat based on the fourth quarter. Like when the pressure's really on, what is the percentage of these players coming through with the goals and stuff like that? Because
that's true. No, listen, when you watch the game, you hear Quint say a lot. And
that's what he does.
They reference it more in terms of face-offs.
Yeah,
than to say, all face-offs aren't created equal. So you could look at the stats after a game and you say, oh, the guy went 50-50. And you say, okay, he held his own. But meanwhile, the other guy got everyone in the fourth quarter or something.
That's what I'm trying to say, stuff like that. Or the saves.
Big saves, same thing. If guy makes big saves, like, team is man up and, they're able to stop a man up because the goalie can make a big stop, or it's a momentum changer. There's no question.
And also, Vinny, you elaborated before that Blaze Riorden and some of the other guys, he's a good outlet guy. Some of the times he makes a save, he's able to give a good outlet where they get more of a fast break. And you talk about transition in the game. I'm on my money today. So that's a big percentage there. No? Am I wrong?
Well, you basically repeated what I said, but yes.
Hello.
Yes.
He's an expert at that.
Oh, oh.
So let's go.
Oh,
Let's
my
go
God.
to the next one. The next,
If he was in a room with Bill Gates, he'd be saying he discovered Microsoft.
right.
Exactly.
So the next one, I like this one. Coach of the Year. They have Mike Pressler of the Atlas up there. They have Timmy Sudan of the Outlaws. Only 3 guys. And they have Jim Stagnita.
Yeah,
That's very easy. I'll go again. These
Go
are
ahead.
Mike Pressler. These are easy
I
things for
don't think
me.
so. I actually would give it to Stagnita. I thought Stagnita did a great job this year from where he was at the beginning of the year. I would give it to Stagnita. They looked like a team that was on the verge of like a total rebuild, and he did the rebuild within like 3 or 4 games. Got a lot of those young guys. They're playing a lot of rookies. Got Dordovic back after he was hurt. Hopefully, he got hurt again, but hopefully he's not. Hopefully he can.
well, we'll see.
Back.
He had to touch something.
He's doing something.
He had to touch something. There he goes.
So I would definitely say Stagnita.
I'm good. I thought we get a brand new refrigerator. I had one for a week.
So yeah, I think with those 3 guys, Sudo's done a pretty good job. But they're just so erratic. Winning and
Who do you
losing.
like, Vinny? Who do you like, kid? Pick it, kid.
If I had to give, I hear Steven's argument, but it's hard to not give it to a guy that a team. They had a chance. This last weekend. It's a shame they lost that game, but had they won, I think they would have been the first team ever to win 8 games in a season.
Right.
And that was a winnable game for them, but they let it go. And look, they didn't have, and we'll see if he's going to be available for the playoffs with the rest. I don't think Schellenberger played last week, in that game.
Right.
He got banged up, whatever, but.
So
Yeah,
who's your
look,
pick,
I
Vincenzo?
I could go either way with that one. If pressed to put a vote, I would vote for Pressler this year.
The next one, I know Smalley's going to love this one. There's a lot of guys for it too. There's 5 guys they have. Is the Rookie of the Year. So they have Schellenberger, they have O'Neill, they have Malone, TJ Malone, who Vinny was saying before. They have Liam Enterman, the goalie, and they have the defensive midi from that list from Duke, Tyler Carpenter. Those were the 5 guys they chose.
Well, I'll start with Carpenter. Unfortunately, as a poll or something, you're not as highlighted as these other guys that are up for it. But he really has had a fantastic year.
I agree with you 1,000%.
That kid is like, he's a game changer. He's in the middle of the field. He's picking up balls. He's clearing. He's creating offense. He does a lot for that team, Realistically, can he get the Rookie of the Year? Probably not. Like I said, defensive guys, they get short.
I'm going to go with Schellenberger.
Schellenberger's had a great year. He missed a couple of games from what I remember. But to me, I think you got to – TJ Malone, I think, for me, should get it. I think he's had the most consistent year. Even when the Whipsnakes was struggling early in the season, he was consistently putting up some points and creating offense for them. And it's like as if some of these other guys came to life around him at this point, So I think that, to me, that's my vote. I would cast for Malone.
We're going to have to see, then they have the Attackman.
Who did you say, Smalls? Did he make a pick on him?
He said,
that is tough. I'm not looking at the stats and everything like that, but I'm gonna stick with my pick there. What I did,
Schellenberger, you said? Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you?
I was going to say, I honestly agree with you, Vin. I think the guy Carpenter did have an unbelievable year. He's got no shot of getting it because they don't give it to defensemen. But, I might pick Carpenter. But looking at the other choices and poor Enterman, he doesn't get a sniff also because, they don't look at these awards many times as defensive type things.
Well, goalies have, but look, the difference, I think he started, 7 of the 10 games?
Yeah.
I don't think he's played in 3 of the games. I think it's hard when you don't play 30% of the games. It's hard for
True.
me to give a guy an MVP.
I would pick Malone too. I would say
Yeah, I mean,
Malone
to me,
on the
he's
point.
been very
He's turned
consistent.
around. He's been consistent.
I
Exactly.
think he earned it.
So the last one is the attackman, and whether or not because he's going to get the MVP, whether you don't give it to Teat or not. But Teat obviously would be the choice. But they
Yes.
also have Zed Williams, Sowers, Holman, and Asher Nolte.
Holman and listen, they all had nice seasons, but come on, what the guy did is off the charts. You got to give them both.
Let's do it this way. They're not going to give them both. Let's say they say you're the MVP, but we'll give the other thing to somebody.
If they gave him the MVP, but now you're asking me the next attackman in line.
Yeah, exactly.
What are those choices?
Zed Williams, Sowers, Holman, and Nolte.
Holman.
That's a tough choice. Let me look at the stats a little bit. I think
give it to Nolte. He did pretty well. I think that I'd come out of Boston with that. I see Holman too. Obviously, Holman was great also. I'd give it to one of those two. Sowers had a great year, but team didn't do good. So it's hard to give him.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic between Nolte and Holman. Nolte clearly, handles the ball more and is more of an initiator, but Holman, I just like his game. Although I didn't really watch that game where they shut him down. How they did it or why he didn't get any opportunities that game, I don't know. Whether or not they just said let's focus on him and not let him get shots because
he does seem like a guy. Don't you think he seems like a guy you could short stick?
Well, he doesn't go with the ball that often. He doesn't dodge with the ball. Yeah,
so, he seems like a guy you could put an athlete on and just
yeah,
say,
but you think that, but you know what? You better put a guy who can mirror that guy because if he gets a half a step, they're going to force feed him with a short stick on him, and he will catch it and shoot it in. So that's the choice you make. Or if you put a short on him and he's going to dodge the short, does he dodge into a pole? They get a switch and the pole goes on that, and then the guy setting the pick ends up getting the short. How they handle that. But listen, all these guys are capable. I mean, you would have to you'd be nitpicking looking at the stats. Clearly, I mean, look, Nolte came in second in points. He was in second in points to Teat. But not much more than Sowers. Sowers had 37 points. Malone had 37 points. Holman had 32 points. He fell off a little bit. Zed had 31 after kind of a slow start, but he came on down the stretch. But if you want to talk about maybe consistently, I mean, look, he's a funny player, Nolte. I think, I might find it a little hard to play with him because he holds it a little bit more than I think most guys do. But he can because of his size. That's his game. And he draws, and then, if they do slide off guys, he does find them. He's a big guy to handle, and he can muscle guys to the cage. So, I mean, look, I think Teat's got to get both awards. But you asked the question, who would be second? I think you might have to go with him for second. Okay.
Hey, Vinny, you talk about Teat. Let me jump on this quickly. Like you guys watch a lot of the games. So if you're going into next year, this is a quick strategy, just a quick point of view. How do you shut down a guy like Teat after watching? Who's been more successful, kind of holding him to a little, 1 or 2 points? Who's holding him down?
The game I saw right up at Fairfield, I was there and I was on the field. They controlled him pretty good that day. Look, if you're talking about a 6-on-6, all right, I'll break it down this way. If you talk about 6-on-6, you have to, when he comes off a pick, which he does a lot, if he comes off a pick, I think you have to double him. I think you got to double him very aggressively and make him run away where he can't really, don't double him soft where he could still keep his head up and make a pass to an open guy, a skip pass and all, because he'll kill you with that. You got to double him where he's running away and he just has to move the ball to the next open guy because he's worried about losing it. That's how I would do it in a 6-on-6 part of it.
You double him right away is what you're saying.
Well, yeah.
And hard.
He's not exactly, when he's picking up assists and all, it's not really off of him coming off the end line, beating a guy and feeding a guy. in the 6-on-6 settled. It's more he comes off a pick, there's a little disruption, and then he finds guys. But he's able to find guys because they're not pressuring him hard out of the double team. I would press him really hard out of the double team. As far as transition, there's really not a lot you can do unless you just pick your poison and say, we're just not going to let him get the ball to pass it. But he does get a lot of points in transition like anybody else does. But he's deadly in transition.
I don't think there's much you can do with a guy like him. I think the strategy is more of a team strategy to say, if Teat's going to get 5 or 6 points, he's going to get 5 or 6 points. We're worried about shutting Teat down. Make the other guys not hurt you, because the one thing is he's not going to get 14 points, So if he ends up with his 5 or 6 points and you hold everybody else down and they end up only scoring in the 10, 11, 12 range, then they can be beat. It's what he does. He elevates all the other guys, and that's when they really become dangerous. When he's elevating all those other guys, and those other guys are producing, then they're hitting the numbers of the 15, 16, 17.
Has he had to come back in games? Has he had to? Does he show when he's down in games? Are the games where he has to come back and he scores 2 or 3 to come back? What type of level kid is he like that, or does he have to be leading? Some guys.
I think he's a gamer. I think he's a big time player with that. He'll make plays when he has to. I mean, but Steven has a point. You could say Teat's going to get his points no matter what. Just don't let the other guys kill you, and do it that way. But that wasn't the question. The question was, to me, how would you cover him when he's with the ball and all? And if he's going to have that, how would you do it? Those both things could be true. You could still limit the other guys and still play them the way I'm talking about. I just believe in being aggressive on guys, especially, look, he's not a big guy, but he's a highly skilled guy. So if you get aggressive with him with somebody, they got some monsters in this league defensively, and they're rangy and everything else. He can have some difficulty with that, But if you let him sit there and pick you apart, and you don't look to get on his hands, or you don't aggressively get on him, that guy will kill you. He's a deadly shooter. I mean, look, he's clearly he's a big scorer also in the indoor league. On a small goal, he shoots them in.
And he's tough, and he can take checks. And he, like, yes, he's slighter than maybe some attackmen, but he's tough.
Is he hard to guard, like a Casey Powell or somebody? I mean,
I just like that he plays the game.
As big as Casey.
No, he's not as dynamic as Casey getting to the cage. Casey could get to the goal better than him. Casey had size to him, and
he could get to the goal, but he's more of a finesse.
Yeah, this kid just really is very high IQ, and he's pinpoint with his passes.
Maybe more like Mikey Powell, the brother.
They're different, They're one-on-one guys. They're better at on the one-on-one part of the game. He's not. I don't look at Teat as saying, with a lot of these defenders, Giles Harris and the guys like this, saying they worry about him beating them with the ball. If he don't get a pick, he ain't beating those kind of guys with the ball. The Powells could beat anybody with the ball.
Wow, so it's probably more interesting how that tells me something. The interesting part about this kid doing what he did is maybe more extraordinary than we're putting a label on.
Well, you got to, look, you're talking about different eras. You're talking about, shot clock faster shot clocks and all those kinds of things. Smaller field. They shrunk the field down a little bit. It's a little bit of a different game. There's more scoring at times. And, he's taking advantage of it. He's just, like I said, he's a great IQ, high IQ
player. The field game, the PLL field's a little small. I didn't know that.
Yeah, in between the goals is smaller than the regular field.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so the transition's quicker.
It's much better.
I would just like to see in a year that he broke every record, with this 64 points. We got to get one of those guys, and we don't have that kind of. We're not at that level.
So compare him to a Casey Powell.
I would love to see clips of all his points on the season and how he got them. Goals and assists. What it was.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. I'm saying it might be more relevant to saying the season he had might be more extraordinary for a kid with that type of talent. You tell me he's not a Casey Powell. The other Powell, and he's not a Paul
I'm not saying he's not a Casey Powell. I'm saying a particular part of his game. The kid scored 64 points. He's phenomenal. But I'm saying if you're asking me who's a better one-on-one player with a best defenseman on him with no pick and just the guy beating the guy, Casey's going to do better with that than him. He's not that, he's not dominant with the ball like that with a big, strong defensive guy on him. But that big, strong defensive guy probably, though, they have their weaknesses. They ball watch, they look to slide early, whatever. And this kid will make you pay because he'll cut back door.
I got to give a lot of credit. Actually, I'm going to give more credit to this guy than I previously had, because if he's doing stuff like this when he doesn't have the attributes of these other players, what is he doing so extraordinary to get that?
Feeding. His IQ is passing through lanes. He does all that.
He's the best.
Excellent.
Then he's the best IQ of all time.
He's definitely up there.
I mean, you make these statements are incredible. I'd like to. I mean, is there anybody?
Look at his stick work. I mean, the guy is throwing behind the
back.
Can
I watch highlights? Do they have that? Can I watch the 65 highlight?
That's what I just said. I'd like to see how he got his 64
I'm
points.
very interested in this kid. This might be something we're never going to see again. I never heard of this. Has anybody ever?
They always say that about every guy who does stuff, and somebody
right. But then But tell me something. Tell me the gap. Has anybody had a gap of 28
No, I don't ever
points?
Remember somebody out being 25.
Because to me, it's
the 25 points represents almost, what is that? Percentage-wise, it's a huge difference.
Here's something Smalls probably didn't know. We played against his father many years in the indoor. He used to play for Rochester, mostly Rochester, I think. His father was a very good player, good scorer, slippery like that. But like his son is like on a different level from him, even like that's how I see it. Like his father was very good, but not like a point making machine like this guy is. This guy's just like,
I might be rooting for this kid. Well, I might be rooting for this kid to win it all.
The guy to root for.
Well, that would be typical Smalls because you're a front runner. You threw.
Excuse me, front runner.
Poor Brennan O'Neill got thrown right under the bus. That's it. The bus just ran over. Right.
Nobody better than Brennan in the college game. I told you, you'll never see a guy in the next 25 years better than a Brennan O'Neill. You won't see it. Okay. You're not going to see it next year. Don't expect to see it. You won't see it.
Smalley is the infinite, like it's the end. It's never going to be broken.
Yeah. Until the next season.
No, but you didn't listen. But again, I love you guys. You're brilliant, but you don't listen to the full scope of it. I said you'll never see a gap of 28 points, 27 point spread from one guy to the next.
25 points. No, I agree. I said that.
This is something.
You just said we're not saying that, but I said it 4 times already.
I might have to fly down to see this guy before the finals.
It's like I woke you up, like you were in a stupor. I woke you up
guys,
when I give you the stats and I tell you, now all of a sudden you woke up.
Well, Stephen and Vinny, I'd like to ask you guys a nice favor. I could probably buy it online. Where can I buy a Teat jersey? Online? You guys know everybody in the game. Can I get a Teat jersey? I need a triple X.
Why don't you call the Prince, Smalls?
I can do that.
You got to call. Well, it's 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you're going to be able to see Teat.
I don't think they make jerseys that big, tell you the truth.
No, they do. They got bigger guys than you in the league.
Really? I'm up to 291.
You're no 290.
Yeah.
You're no 290.
287. 287.
You're not up there. Get out of there.
You fucking kidding me? I got a fucking double chin, Malik.
No, you're not. You're losing. I could tell you're losing.
Yeah, I'm losing, Malik. I'm losing. My new friend.
Look at the guns. Show the fans the guns. Look at that. Look at that physique. Yeah, look at him.
All right, so it's time. Pick time. Now it's pick time.
Oh.
We're going right to the picks. The first game.
All right, Vinny goes first. Vinny's going down. Vinny's going down.
Boston minus 1.5 against Chaos.
Well, they played a 1-goal game recently. right? The
Yep.
1.5 looks good for an underdog, but I think I'm gonna. And Chaos has a history of their best performances being in the playoffs. I mean, I look back, I look at Chaos's record overall. You look at Chaos's record in however many years the league is now, 6, I think, or whatever it is. They're below 500. They won one championship, played in another one, but they're below 500 team. When they get to the playoffs, they step up and they've been better.
Yeah,
But
750.
I just think Boston is better overall. I think Boston is going to come to play, and that hook on that 1.5 bothers me. But I'm going to go with Boston in that.
Oh,
All right, Smalls, you're up.
I can't. I got to do it. I got to do it to him. Obviously, I got to catch up. It's you know what it is from the. I'll tell you from the weeks. It's been so crazy picking the games.
Gotta be careful. You're only down one game.
And it's all the games have been one goal. I went 0-4. Vinny went 1-3. I think you were 2-2 or 1. It's so crazy to pick now. I'm gonna pick the chaos.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Malls is with Chaos.
I don't know.
Steven, you got to pick the chaos. You're so down.
Well, I'm down 2. I mean, is this?
If you lose this, you'll be down 3. You can never come back.
Is this the hill I want to die on? Is the question?
Yes, die, baby, die.
Boston. They look tough, but I'm gonna have to go with the chaos. Blaze Riordan's got to save me. I need Blaze Riorden.
Steven, always remember.
1.5, but I need Blaze to.
You still got a goal and a half. Really is stupid because it's 2 goals, basically.
Well, okay, well that's what I'm going. I'm picking chaos. All right, next game.
All right.
Whip Snakes -1.5. Outlaws.
I got to go first again.
Yeah.
Vinny can actually win the whole thing and never pick a game because it could be a 1-goal game.
I'm going to take the Whip Snakes. I think Denver's too erratic for me to put my money on. They're just too erratic. I think Maryland, the Whip Snakes got their game together. They're rested. I think they're going to come in flying. I think they're going to win that game. They beat them 16-9. The last time they played. So I'm going Whips.
I gotta say, I'm gonna. That's a good call. I do like it, but I'm gonna say for a guy who's the greatest coach to ever grasp the roots, and he's from Levittown, right? Isn't the guy from Levittown? Isn't it Tierney? Who's the coach of?
Tierney.
He's out of the playoffs, Tierney.
Tierney's out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about who.
So Dan is the coach of Denver, and the Maryland coach is Stagnita.
Oh, that hurts a little bit. You know what? Denver's so streaky. They can come up big, and Steinbrenner is still 2 goals. I'm going with Denver.
Well, he's going.
I'll take the lead.
I'm gonna go with Whip Snakes again. I didn't pick Chaos the first game just to be opposite. That might have been a calculated risk, but I think Maryland's gonna beat Denver. I think that they're figuring things out. They look solid. I think they have the pieces to win that game by 1.5. So I'm going Whip Snakes.
I wouldn't be surprised if all the games are just 1-goal games.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if they're all 1-goal games. Vinny's still in the lead. It doesn't matter. It's a wash. You saw that last week.
Just for the fans who might be following this to bet on games, I just want to tell you, Small's middle name is Mush.
He is the mush. Except he's somehow with the spread, you see he can be right in it. If he wins these 2 games, he'd be in the lead going in.
He'd take the lead. He's going to take the lead.
But that's
we'll
what
see.
Small shout out time. Who we shouting out?
That's the only games. That's all. That's all we have.
That's it. Only 2 games.
That's it.
Wait, I thought there's 5 games left.
No, 2. There's 5 for the season. There's buys.
So after these 2 games, next weekend, who knows? It might be our next show. Our next show could be at Hofstra. We could set up at Hofstra, do some interviews at Hofstra before. They're having a game, fireman versus policeman, at 2:00 in the afternoon at Hofstra.
Oh, God!
And then they're having the 2. The semifinals are happening after that. So we can get there early, and we could we can see all the happenings. You know, we can see the warm ups, see some of our longtime friends. I'm sure will be around. Do some interviews. Maybe see Maddie Balaam again. See Tierney, Seth. And
Hey, Steven, can we actually set up with our phones? How?
no, we set up with a camera. We have things. We have some mics. We have.
But we can do. Can we do it anywhere or?
Yeah,
We
we can
don't
do
have
it
to do
anywhere.
the technical stuff
We,
now.
we can do it anywhere. We're remote. We can do it.
All right, all right.
We can take off.
Now let me ask you a question: Is Vinny, is Metzger getting the box, or we got to get the box?
I
What's
don't know. Don't worry about all of that now. We don't have to discuss that. I got one thing I want to discuss. You ready?
Yeah.
Which is relevant to the league. And what your thoughts on this are. So, Water Dogs, who had a tough season, ended it with a win, ended up 2-8. The question I have for you guys: does Bill Tierney come back next year?
Hell yeah, baby! He don't go out a loser. Greatest coach, living coach ever.
Okay.
Won the three times he won with the Ivy League. He's the only guy to ever win 3 with the Ivies.
I think that question could be spliced into two things. Will he come back next year, and should he come back next year?
Yes.
You know. So will he? I say yes. Should he? I think they're still a very good team. I think he could turn that thing around because they have all the pieces, a lot of the pieces from their championship.
He lost 4 games by 1 goal. Why couldn't he turn it around?
Yeah, I mean, well, the other way some people look at it and say you lost 4 games by 1 goal, and now you can't.
He's got to get his feet wet in the league. He's just starting. Let him get his feet wet. He'll know how to do it.
It's there's a lot of good young guys coming out. He'll have his eye on that CJ Kirst if he can get him. Although I don't know that he's got the number 1 pick, but if he, because I think CJ Kirst is going to be the number 1 pick. And does he fit with that team? If McCardle continues to play, does a Kirst fit with a Sowers, McCardle? Where does that put Ethan Walker? There's a lot of good guys. You really have to play with the puzzle pieces to find who plays well together.
Well, I
I'd
haven't
like to
heard
get
any.
an interview with Mr. Teat. I'd like to. If we're getting this thing going, let's get this thing going.
Well, maybe his father will be at the game.
Of course, he's going to be at the game tailgating.
Maybe if he's there, maybe we get him on. We could do an interview.
Yeah.
But I think he comes back. I think Bill comes back. I mean, look, I only consider it not because I don't look at the season as a total failure, even though they were 2-8 with all those close games. They can flip the script. He's known to do that. He went into Princeton with a team, his first year. I don't know if they won more than 1 or 2 games, and he ended up a national champ pretty quick after that, So he has that. But he's also not in his 40s, He's up there. I'm just wondering, was it a lot for him with the travel and all of that? Those things to consider.
Just like
Manny, he loves it, man. Love of the game, my friend.
Well, for him to come out to do it, he definitely loves it. If
he loves the game.
After retiring from coaching, to come back and do this.
Well, that's a little bit. It sort of defeats itself. If you really wanted to do it, why did you retire in the first place then?
Because his wife told him.
This is a lot. Look, this coaching a team in this league is a lot less involved than coaching a college team is an everyday affair.
Well,
Bill, he's got to get, like Small said, he's had to get his feet wet because it's a little bit of a different animal.
He'll adjust. The guy knows how to adjust. He's the best to ever do it.
He will. He'll adjust, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're right up there in the mix next year if he comes back. And like I said, look, the history of this league is, like you said, Steven, guys come and go. If they're going to be, they had the worst record and they're going to get the first pick and all of that, like you said, and getting a kid like Kirst or whoever, they're going to, whatever hole they seem to going to have to fill, trades and everything else. He came into this thing. He didn't build this team. This team is what was there, Right. And I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying it was. I think they did have some hard luck. Now, the question more is, if you want to talk about, we all know he's a champion coach, but like anything, we would be talking about players. We started early on in this thing talking about his Pennell coming back. Did he lose a step? Is he still capable? We said he stayed in great shape. Maybe Bill could. You lose a step as a coach also.
Yep.
There were some things he did that people could question at ends of games, him not taking a timeout and different things like that, going home with timeouts in his pocket. When they're in a one possession game. It's just it is just interesting, because you're talking about an iconic coach, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in the history of the game.
Right.
And he's known as a program changer.
No, Vinny, excuse me. Please rephrase that. He is the greatest in the game.
Okay, you could say that. I mean, look, he's taken. Look, he took a Princeton team that was nowhere to the status, multiple national championships, and then he goes out west
on the map.
and he goes out west and he does it again at Denver. So that tells you his capabilities. There's no question about his capabilities. So, but we'll see. It's just it's more of a curiosity thing for me what he decides to do.
He's coming back, Vinny. It's in his blood.
I said I think he comes back.
It's in his DNA. What's he gonna do? Sit home and make potato pancakes every day, and in the kitchen bothering his wife? That gets old after a while. You got to do something.
He has done announcing. He's done announcing games, but it just seems like that doesn't fill it for him. It's like the coaching part is more fun for him, I guess.
We never want to get old, bro.
He's a good analyst. He's an excellent analyst. If you hear him doing games, he points out a lot of things that people can learn from.
He didn't come back for 1 year. There's no way. Right. You don't just come back for 1 year. I know these things, guys. Come on.
Okay, that's okay. That's why I asked the question. I wanted to hear you. I wanted to hear your take.
Terrible question, Vinny. It's terrible.
It's different than a player, because a player like Vinny using the famous John Phillips line. You don't do it at the end of the year. You do it towards the beginning of the next year. I don't know that you can do that as a coach. I think you, like Smalls is saying, you gotta kind of.
I want to know, can Gary Gait come back and play?
Well, I want to know another thing. I will go past. Look, we'll get. Sometime we past Bill Tierney. Are there any other coaches in the league that you think, will either say they've had enough, or will they be removed?
I think the Redwoods guy could be on the ropes.
He might be on the hot seat. He may be on the hot seat.
I mean, I don't know that they would fire him. He's done.
I think Pressler
league, but maybe he's like it's run its course for him too.
Yeah.
I think it might.
Yeah, like I said, look.
Towers, they'd have to get a dump truck and an 18-wheeler and chain him and pull him out of there. He ain't getting out of there no matter what. Mm-hmm. He loves it, so he's not going.
If you like,
I don't know.
And he's a high-profile guy for the league.
They love him.
His whole thing,
Right.
He's animated. He's relatable. He knows the game. He makes a lot of good points.
And he's got a victory.
And he's funny. He does have the right personality.
Sudo and Bates seem like they like it. I don't think they're going anywhere. Holman's having success, and he's got the family and all that.
I think for the most part, everybody's enjoying it. I think they are.
I want to say something about Pressler, if I may jump in here. I think he's a very, very, he's a great coach, everything. I think had that not happened to him at Duke, this guy would have won 2 or 3 at Duke, in my opinion. He was building a situation at Duke, which is really coming on really strong. That situation happened to him at Duke. Yeah. Was a big hit for the guy.
Listen, when he went to, he definitely brought Bryant.
He went to Bryant, yeah.
He did a great job with Bryant. He brought them into a little more national prominence. They competed in their conference every year, and
they beat Syracuse in the Dome the 1 year playoff.
Yeah, they pulled it up. They pulled upsets. He clearly knows what he's doing.
Imagine going through that. He leaves. The guy leaves the most prominent program in history as he was building it. He was building Duke. That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard, that story. It was incredible.
All right.
That story.
Well, it's time for your shout-outs. Who's your
I'll
shout-out?
be last on my shout out because I'm lost in my shout out.
You're
All right,
lost?
I got a few, but go first, Vinny.
I'm going to give a shout out to the women's under 20 team that won the gold medal in the games they just played. Yeah, they performed. I mean, nobody was close. They pretty much just dismantled every other team. So it's always nice to represent the country and also come home with a gold medal. They did a fantastic job, and I think they made a lot of great memories for themselves. So I applaud them and I congratulate them.
Nice.
Whoa.
My shout out, since the PLL's going to Boston, my shout out's gonna be to my former roommate, Paulie Talmo.
Holy T! Wow, you pulled that one out.
Yeah, he's I doubt they'll get him out to the games, or he'd be late. He'd be late to the game if he was going to show up because the guy is always the last guy on the bus. Wait. The best. So
Holy T! I miss him. We haven't seen him in so long, Steve.
I was trying to get him to Placid. Maybe we could get him to Florida. He's an elusive guy. He is an elusive guy.
We got to nail him down to come to Florida. He's always fun to be around.
Oh yeah. It's great time. He's a great time to be around. All right,
what you got, Smalls?
Well, I was thinking here. I was a little confused. I was thinking I always want to give my mother a shout out. It's going to be 90, so I love her dearly. But my shout out, I guess, is going to have to go to Coach Richard Speckman.
Shout out to Becky.
Who's won 27 national championships, the most ever in college sports history. And he's just an iconic guy and changed my life. Like when I was going, I was didn't know what direction I was going at Nassau when I went there. My father said, you got to show up at Nassau. You're going to play lacrosse. You're going to try to get your grades up. Yeah, I didn't pass too many courses in high school. So I go there, and they had 110 guys that tried out for the team that year. It was an extraordinary year. Coming off, I've never played the game, and
how many times have you heard this story?
I didn't hear this one. Dougie Hall was
you had a shout out, and all of a sudden it's all about you.
I got to give it Dougie Hall.
How many times have we seen?
Keep going.
Dougie Hall.
I know you say I never won in college, and you did.
I'm not going there, Vinny. You don't know. Listen, that was a knock. It wasn't a knock. Some people say it was a knock. You never won at Hofstra. What do you want me to tell you? But anyway, you had to bring it up. I'm kidding you. But no, I had to give it to Richard Speckman, who's he's getting up there in age now. He still golfs all the time. He's a tremendous golfer, and I got to give it to Richard Speckman, who changed my life when he called me on the phone at my house and said, "Smalls, I got to have you, man." And so that was history. But anyway,
well, let me ask you something. If we were interviewing Coach Speckman right now, and we were asking him, what did Rob Smalley give to that team that year, that championship team? What did Smalley give to that team? What do you think he'd say about you?
Oh, the value of me?
Yes.
You can't get people like me in life.
Okay, go ahead. Give me the rundown.
You can't get the value of somebody like me coming to a team. It's like
are you saying it or Speckman saying it?
I'm saying it. Speckman saying it. Everybody's saying it. When we went to that national championship down in Maryland with Anne Arundel, I was all in with the team. I was cheering people on, getting them going, talking positive that whole week. That whole week when people were scared to death. It was Paul Gansey, Romano, and all these guys, man. It was a very scary time because living under those legendary things of winning 24 national championships, then knowing you got to win it is very scary. But no, I did everything I can to win. Couldn't have a better teammate than me in life. Ready to go, practice.
Can I ask you something? Did you actually practice? Like, did you put the helmet on?
What are you talking about? That? Of course. Oh, now you're thinking. Oh, wait. Because of the size of my head, or
No, I figure. I figure like practice starts. You take your equipment off. You stand next to Speckman and you tell him what to do.
well, Vinny, first of all, I'll make a
You
statement
like
to
to
you.
direct.
I'll make a statement to you. I don't want to pick on lacrosse, but there wasn't a better athlete in lacrosse than me. Maybe playing lacrosse,
Steven, here you go.
basketball, they couldn't hold my jock strap. No lacrosse player was ever better than me, and that's all I gotta say. So there we go. All right. God bless you all.
So
Oh,
the last thing I just want to cover with our fans out there, you know, we're going to be able to get the video up on YouTube now, so you can see it with video and audio, or just audio on YouTube. You can get the Spotify app. You can get the Apple. You get the audio.
Wait, you can see our picture? Oh, just audio?
No, just audio on Apple and on Amazon. But on YouTube and Spotify, you'll be able to get the audio and video. Now, you know, every future episode. It's been
today the first time or other times?
Last week was for the YouTube. It always goes out on all.
Wait, till we're on YouTube with over there.
You know what I would suggest is subscribe. Subscribe this way, you know, when an episode gets loaded, they get a notification, and that's the easiest way. Obviously, we put some clips on the Instagram too. But what the fans are calling for, that Smalley is asleep at the wheel, is where is the link to the store?
I'll get the store going.
Listen,
they saw that Lax Life.
I don't know.
The hats. They want the paraphernalia.
We're going to have Coach Speckman on, because I want to hear this from him, because he comes off like he's a doer. But meanwhile, how many weeks are you asking him for this link?
How many people you think he remembers? He remembers me.
Fans are asking me for hats. Fans are saying, "Where did you get that sweatshirt?" They said, "Oh my God, I heard you gave Tillman an OGO bag. Where do we get one of those?" They're all looking for all of the stuff.
I'll get it. I'm gonna get it up. I do promise that. I'll get it up, and we'll rock and roll. But I do want to get one thing to Vinny. I want to put something in Vinny's head, if I may. And I'm really interested, and I don't get much interested in many people, what this kid Teat did. I want to get his father at the game and the kid. I actually want to get the kid too, if I can.
We're gonna bring the stuff. We're gonna have the video camera. We're gonna have our audio equipment. We'll be able to talk to people. We'll be able to interview some people, have an episode, piece an episode together while we're
have the thing. Look, hey, Steven, I'd like to have a mic that says around it says 3 guys, many games. Like you're doing an interview. I mean, it sounds funny.
Well, this is what he does good. This is his thing. He likes this stuff. But he talks a lot, but he don't get it done.
I talk a lot, Vinny. I talk a lot. What I did for this game in 3 years, no one's seen before.
The thing you can get is when we go to Hofstra, figure out where we set up, and then we'll bring all the people in for those interviews.
I can set up anywhere. Sets office.
Okay.
I go all over the world there.
Make it happen.
I paid for every room.
I hope it happens faster than that link.
Yeah.
I spend more on suites there than anybody.
I want to ask you a question.
Alumni.
I
write more checks other than James Metzger.
I got a serious question for you.
Yes.
You played at Nassau.
He's back at Nassau.
Oh, we're back at Nassau.
Did you? Because this intrigues me. I want to know. Did you score any goals?
I was defensive midi. I did have 2 goals though.
You did?
I ran all the way down. I had 2 goals. Jeff, you don't know these guys. Jeff Goldberg, Keith Tinnell trained me to make the team, and I won the mile. I did a 5.
Or you're talking to the crowd here. You're talking to me when you say I don't know them?
A 5:05 indoor mile.
Okay, so you won the mile to make.
Myers did a 5:21.
But I asked you a question about scoring. You said you scored 2 goals.
I scored 2 goals.
So listen, if you scored 2 goals in your whole career, they got to be memorable. Tell me how you did it.
Vinny, coast to coast, brother.
You went coast to coast?
Coast to coast.
Wow.
And then that's it. Yeah.
They pick you up. You ran straight in.
Yes, Jeff Dumpson.
I remember him from
That's the guy from UMass.
Long Island.
That's the guy.
He was the original 2-hand power cradler.
Oh, yeah. He's a power cradler,
He's
no
a
doubt.
like two-hand cradler. He doesn't have a one.
I played every one of those guys one-on-one basketball.
That
They
would
were
be
my
some.
sons.
That would be some
One-on-one
rare footage.
basketball. I
That
played
would be
everybody on
some
the
rare
team.
footage of Smalley scoring in a Nassau community
If
uniform.
anybody has that
Hey,
footage,
I don't take nothing away from their lacrosse.
Please send it. Please.
Athletically, they couldn't shine my shoes.
Okay, I know. All right, I'm
Basketball, I
asking
played
about.
every one.
We're
Excuse me, let me get
we're
the
a
floor.
lacrosse podcast, and we're talking about.
But I played every one of those guys one-on-one basketball, and not one scored more than 5. And that was Jeff Dumpson. He had 4. That was it. 21-4, 21-2, 21-0. And these guys were all Americans. Do you know the year that I played, out of 32 guys that made the team, 17 guys went on to become
I love it.
I gave him a good platform to promote himself, didn't I, Steven?
17 guys went on, not me.
He's not shy to quote it. There we go. Go ahead. Keep
They went on to be all Americans. It was a great breeding ground. I mean,
Yes.
and you know that as well.
Of course. I know the history of Nassau.
Oh.
No. I just don't understand. Well, okay.
More importantly, I met great people. Isn't that what it's about?
Right.
Maybe Coach Speckman will be at the PLL game. I'm sure we'll see a lot of different people around. We'll invite them, put the headphones on them, and clip them in for a special.
I think I could play college ball in my 60s if I train.
I think you guys should start to get on the field at Lake Placid that you promised the last 3 years.
You said you're going to face off.
Or in Florida. You
could
got
take a
5
couple
months to
face-offs.
train for Florida.
They were asking for you up in Placid, Smalls. They were asking.
Well, Rodney was going to train me, but he got sick. How's he doing? I want to give him a shout out.
Who?
Poor guy. Rami. Shami.
Oh,
Ready?
Hey, Rami, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Rami.
Yeah, we got yeah.
Right away, Vinny went to politics.
Right.
He was talking about Rami.
Right.
Well, you did it. I didn't make you come
Vinny's
up
like,
with it. I love how you throw me into the mix after
All
you
right,
say.
right now it's all on Smalls. We're wrapping it up. We're getting
All right.
ready for Hofstra. It's all on Smalls to get us all arranged. We're gonna have the link. People are gonna be able to get their hats. They go, it's gonna be exciting.
I also would like to see Seth Tierney. I would like to get 4 guys. And you got to do it. Vinny's always afraid. Oh, Vinny goes like this. Oh, it's not the right time. It's not political, Smalls. Don't go up to him. He's talking to Jesse Blue. No, I want to get there.
What are you talking about? Where do you
I want to get there.
Where do you come up with this stuff?
I want to hold on, Vin. One
Stuff
second.
up
I'm just
in the
kidding,
middle
man.
of
I'm kidding. Jesus.
I don't know.
I want to
where
get there and do it right. Get 4 good interviews. We're gonna have the Prince
We're
there.
gonna have the Prince. We can get the Prince. We'll get the Prince up.
Wait, is it 1 week away or 2 weeks?
1 week after this.
Oh, now I got to gear up, Vinny.
Gotta get ready.
Vinny, do I rent a Winnebago? What do I do now?
Nothing.
He never has. He always holds me down, Vinny. I love him, but he holds me down. What do we got?
I'm under strict orders from the GOAT, Cheryl Smalley, to hold you down.
Hold
Lucky
it
guy.
down.
I can't do anything.
All right, guys.
All right, we're signing off.
Signing off.
See you next time.
What